So Microsoft have finally released Copilot for Microsoft 365 to businesses with fewer than 300 users. And I happen to have bought a license. So in this video, I'm going to show you how it works. But before all that, just a quick introduction. My name is Jonathan Edwards from Integral IT. We help businesses all over the world with the Microsoft 365. So don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Now, Copilot for Microsoft 365 was actually released at the back end of 2023. But Microsoft only made it available to enterprise customers. Now, to you and me, that is customers with over 300 users. So all the small businesses had to wait. But the waiting is finally over, and Copilot for Microsoft 365 is available for us all. Now, if you don't know what Copilot is, here's a little introduction. Copilot for Microsoft 365 is Microsoft's AI technology, and it integrates with all your Microsoft 365 apps: Word, Excel, Outlook, PowerPoint. Copilot for 365 is designed to be your digital assistant. And we all could do one of those, couldn't we? But here's the thing. Copilot for Microsoft 365 isn't free. It costs money. And it costs quite a lot of money. Copilot for Microsoft 365 costs you $30 per user per month. Now, if that wasn't expensive enough, here's another kicker. You've got to pay for your license on an annual basis. So you've got to pay $360, or if you're in the UK, £294.60 up front before you can start using it. Now, fortunately for you, I've already bought one of these licenses just to be able to show you how Copilot can work in your business. You're welcome. So without further ado, let's jump onto that computer behind me and I'll show you how it works. So this is the web page for Copilot for Microsoft 365. Now, I can't see anywhere on this page where you can buy it. Now, I might be wrong. There's a big tab here saying see pricing. And if I scroll down to there, it tells me how much it is. It explains that it's an annual commitment. And then it says add Copilot to your plan. But then it says contact your Microsoft representative. Okay, so I can't see where you can buy this directly from Microsoft. Now, we're a Microsoft partner and we buy all our licenses for ourselves and our clients off a license provider here in the UK. So to buy my license, I've gone and bought it from there. Once that's been applied to our Microsoft 365 tenant, you can see that what you've got to do, this is my account here, and you can see that a Copilot for Microsoft 365 license appeared and I assigned it to myself, okay? So that's the first step that you need to follow. Just before I move on and show you the examples of how Copilot works in various different Microsoft 365 applications, I thought I'd just show you this web page here. And this is about Copilot prompts. Now, Copilot reacts to the instructions or the questions that you put into it, okay? So the more information you can put into Copilot, the better your request, the better the response from Copilot. So Microsoft have got this interesting web page where it cuts the prompts down into 4 parts. You've got your goal, you've got your context, your expectations, and your source. That would, in a way, make the perfect prompt. And there's a lot of information here about the prompts, and also there's a little tab about getting better results with your prompting, okay? So I will put this link below the video, but I highly recommend that if you are starting out with Copilot, you check this out. It's also worth noticing that I am using the brand new version of Outlook. I'm using the brand new version of Microsoft Teams. What I also had to do, because I launched some of my other applications like Word and PowerPoint, and they didn't have the Copilot add-in in there. So what I did is I went to the Microsoft login page and I just installed the latest version of Office. So you might have to do that, you might not. Okay, let's start talking about how Copilot works, starting with Outlook. There's a few things that I can show you. Firstly, let's go to new email. I want to click on that. You can see it says draft with Copilot. So I can click on there. I can also get rid of that if I just want to send a normal email. Now, if I want to get that back, you can see there's a Copilot icon at the top here, and we've got a couple of options. So the first one is draft with CoPilot. So I've got to feed in what I would like this email to look like. So let's go through something like this. So there is my prompt for CoPilot. Now I could go ahead and click on generate, but before I do that, there's another little icon here, and that's called generation options. You can see that I can choose the tone of the email, and I can choose the length. So to start with, I'm just going to keep it as direct and short, and I'll click on generate, and that will generate. Okay, that has generated an email for me. I either like that or I don't. What I can do, I can keep it, I can discard it, or I can regenerate. So if I'm not happy with it, I can regenerate. Also in this box here, I can put anything that I'd like to change. Now, generally, I'm not happy with it. So what I can do is I can go back here, and I'm just going to change a generation option. Pretend that that was a little bit too short for me. So I want a longer email. Okay, so I'll go back here, and let's generate it again. Okay, so this email is better. And I might decide that I want to use that. So all I would do here is click on keep it. Now, obviously, I'm going to make changes. I'm not going to send it out like this. But what CoPilot has done is give me the foundation for a good email that I can send. I can make changes. I can do what I want. And when I'm happy with it, I can change it. So that is how you use CoPilot in a way to draft emails for you. Another feature of CoPilot in Outlook is the coaching feature. So this is an email that we wrote sometime last year, okay? It's just telling people about the end of life for Server 2012. The subject isn't important. Now, I wrote this myself, obviously without CoPilot. But what I can do now is get CoPilot to check this email and check if I can make any changes to make this email better. So I go up to the tab here and I will click on Coaching by CoPilot. And that will analyze it, and it will make some suggestions about the email. So here's some suggestions. It's talking about my tone. It's saying that the email's serious, but my tone is actually probably too casual. It's talking about the reader sentiment, and it's talking about clarity. Now, what I could do, I could go through this email and make changes to this email based on the suggestions by CoPilot. So that's another interesting feature. So what else can we do? Well, we've got something called Summary by CoPilot. So this is an email. It's just an email that I get on productivity, but it could be any email. I often receive lots of emails that are kind of a long chain. So particularly if my sales team have been involved in emailing a potential client, the email chain could be quite long. And at the end of it, they might forward that on to me. So I can either read this long email or I can let CoPilot summarize that email for me. So we've got that tab here. If I click on this, it just summarizes what this email is about. Again, if it's a long chain, this will save time. This feature is also available on smartphones. So I find it quite useful when I'm doing it on a phone. So we might be out and about, and I'm just looking at emails on my phone. And if I just click on the tab at the top of the phone, it will summarize the email right on my phone. So I don't have to scroll down over lots of emails. So again, I think that is a really good feature of CoPilot. Okay, so that's Outlook. What about CoPilot in Microsoft Word? Okay, so I've opened Word and this has popped up here, Draft with CoPilot. Now I can close this if I want, and to bring it back, if you can see that little tab appears here and that will bring the box back. So what can I do? Well, let's just write a... How about that? Okay, let's click on Generate and see what CoPilot does for us. So there you have it. It's 748 words. It's not quite the 1,000 that I was looking for, but it's come up with a decent little blog post there. So what I can do, I can keep it, I can regenerate, which means it'll go again, or I can bin it, or I can give it some more instructions. So I could say, make it formal. I'll take the suggestion there, and I'll click on here, and it's going to redefine it for us. So it's used some slightly different wording there. So that's how CoPilot can draft Word documents for you. It can draft all kinds of documents. It doesn't have to be blog posts. It could be proposals as well. But we've also got this CoPilot tab up here. So if I click on there, this might be an existing document that someone has sent you. So you can also use CoPilot here to change documents, to summarize the document. So that's similar to the summary thing in email. If it's a long document, you could perhaps come into here and click on Summarize Doc. Now, I'm using this for the first time, and I've asked it to summarize this document here, and CoPilot said that it's still learning and it can't do it just yet. So they're the teething problems there. But you've got a whole lot of things you can do to existing documents. It can draft new documents. I hope you can see the power of CoPilot in Word. So what next? So next, we're going to talk about CoPilot for PowerPoint. So who still designs PowerPoint presentations? How long do they take? Okay, not anymore, not with CoPilot. So I'll launch it here. I've got a few options here. So the first one is create presentation. Create a presentation for a law firm. There we go. There we go. Create a presentation for a law firm on the benefits of using Microsoft 365 and choosing Integral IT to manage their security. What is it going to come up with? Just give it a few minutes here. Okay, so it's come up with a presentation complete with images. Okay, and as a starting point, this isn't bad. It has saved me lots of time and it is not bad at all. You can go back to CoPilot here and we can say add a slide about email encryption, let's say, and it'll go off and it might even add another slide. Again, this is the first time I've used this. There we go. It's added a slide on email encryption. Can you see how quick it was to create a PowerPoint presentation? Let's look at another option within PowerPoint then. If I just create a new blank presentation, go back to PowerPoint, because the second option is quite interesting. You might have a long PDF and you might want to design a presentation based on that. So if I go on here, it's going to ask me to look at some data within my 365. Just see if it finds this. We've got a process called the modern slavery and human trafficking process, which is in our business. So just for a bit of fun here, let's see what kind of presentation is created by using that Word document. So what it's done now, look, is come up with an outline and it's telling us what it's going to be generating. And here is a presentation. Now, you might like this. You might think this isn't very good, but it's just an example. You might have a long PDF and you might want to create a presentation, and CoPilot makes it really easy and really quick for you to be able to do so. Okay, so next up is CoPilot for Microsoft Excel. So here's an Excel spreadsheet. This is just some sample data. It's not connected to me at all. But we've got the CoPilot tab here. Now, interestingly, next to CoPilot here, in brackets, it says Preview. Now, it doesn't say that on the other CoPilot app. So I wonder if CoPilot for Excel is still a little bun in the oven. Who knows? So what we can do, it works with table data. So I can look at this data here. And we could say, it's given some examples here. Let's show some data highlights, and it'll look at these bits of data. This is quite a small sample of data, but imagine if this was a huge spreadsheet, lots of different tabs, lots of different data. Now it's showed a highlight here. It's saying the total users targeted and the engaged users appear highly dependent on each other. How interesting. So what I could also do here, if I like that, is I could add it to the sheet, and it'll add that little bit of information to the sheet. Okay, go back to the table again, and can I see another insight? So we could have a look there for another insight, and it'll give me another insight. So again, what I can do all kinds of things with this data. Move that there like that. Now, I'm not a massive Excel user. I've touched on a couple of things it can do. There's some more options here. It can sort and filter, add formula columns, and if you jump over to the CoPilot website for Excel on the Microsoft web page, it will give you some more information. But as I said, I wonder if CoPilot for Excel is still a little bit of a bun in the oven. So there is CoPilot used with your most common Office applications. You might have noticed that I didn't talk about one application, and that is Microsoft Teams. I'll be covering CoPilot for Teams in my next video. I look forward to seeing you again then. See you later.